If you've got something in your life and business that you know that you need to do, but you keep procrastinating, making excuses and putting it off, then give me a few minutes because in this video, I'm going to share with you exactly why this is happening and the mindset shift you need to make in order to break that pattern. My name's Byron Morrison, and after writing 5 best-selling books and over a decade of working in the personal development space, what I've seen time and time again is the general advice to get someone to follow through is to tell them to think of their why, remind themselves of their goals and everything that they'll get by taking action. The reason this doesn't work, though, is in the moment you perceive the pain of what you need to do as greater than the benefit of what you have to gain. I'll give you a really easy to follow health example. Everyone knows to live a healthier, happier life, they need to exercise more and eat better. But in the moment, the pain of passing on their favorite foods or going to the gym outweighs the benefit of what they have to gain. So instead, they pick what they want right now instead of what they want long term. And that's why whether you're struggling with a fear of failure, a fear of rejection, not being good enough, or whatever else is causing you to get in your own way and avoid what you know you need to do, rather than focusing on what you have to gain, you need to amplify the pain. And I don't mean catastrophizing or panicking yourself into taking action, but instead it's about becoming aware of the very real consequences that come with inaction. Let me give you a real world example of this. A few years ago, I spoke to a CEO who reached out at a point where his business was not in a good place. They'd had a rough patch for months where revenue was down. It had been a long time since they signed any new clients, and he was really struggling. He knew that in order to turn it around, he needed to pick up the phone and start calling potential clients. But instead, he was spending his days doing admin work, watching YouTube videos, or anything he could to avoid doing the one thing he knew he needed to do. When we start diving into it further, what I helped him uncover was he realized that because they'd been going through such a rough period of time, he had this mental block where he was so afraid of failure. He was worried that he'd make the calls and they would reject him. He had all of these mental blocks that would stop him from following through. And no matter how much he thought about the business he wanted to build or the goals he wanted to achieve, that wasn't enough to get him to face the discomfort of what he needed to do. So instead, I turned it around. What I got him to do was to think about what was going to happen 6 months from now if he didn't fix this problem. As he thought about it, he realized that if he didn't turn this around, he was going to have to start laying off his team. He was already having issues in his marriage, so the financial strain was going to make things even more difficult with his wife. It was going to then put pressure on him having to provide for his kids. And then eventually, if he didn't turn it around, he'd have to go and get a job and go back to working for someone else, the very life he'd worked so hard to get out of and avoid. As he started looking at the very real consequences that would come with inaction, suddenly he tipped the scale in the other direction. He now made it more painful not to follow through. So he started picking up the phone, calling potential clients. He got some business in that gave him back his confidence. And that was how he turned this around. So instead of focusing on everything he had to gain, he amplified the pain. So here's what I want you to do. Think about the thing that you're avoiding, procrastinating on, and putting off right now, and putting your goals aside. Ask yourself what's going to happen 6 months from now if you continue delaying on it. How you're not going to get the success that you want in your business, how you're not going to be able to create the life of freedom on your terms, how you're going to continue living below your potential. By looking at the very real cost that comes with inaction and tipping the scale in the other direction by amplifying the pain, that's when it becomes easier to follow through. That's how you can take willpower and discipline and motivation out of the equation, and you can actually get out of your own way by making it more painful not to do the things that you need to do. So I'd love to hear from you on this. Share down in the comments below what's the one thing you've been putting off, and for accountability, share what are you committed to doing about it. That's going to be your first step to turning this into a reality. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss more videos on taking control of your life and business. I've been Byron Morrison. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.